think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles. Body work,
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Fahrenheit 147 is heating up, and it is headed towards the same toxic proportions that we just experienced between Earl the Truth Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. Whole different situation, but I believe that those two and the fan bases around those two have slowly formed and conditioned the minds of boxing fans that this is the way that it needs to be. Yikes! Oh man, before I even get into the meat and potatoes of everything, let's go back into the curriculum because this is very, very much needed. Yeah, trust me. Gaslighting is at an all-time high. And I told you that relevancy is the new drugs. People will do anything to stay relevant, you know, and it couples one of those 48 laws of power, which I don't really subscribe to myself, in which all publicity is good publicity. And that even applies here on YouTube. Gaslighting is a strategy that is intended to break down the trust you have in your memory, instincts, and self-esteem. It can make you doubt yourself and depend more on the objective perspective of your partner, while in reality, they are taking care of only their best interest. You got a lot of content creators that'll just create content because of their own best interest, which is cool at the end of the day. But don't be wearing the guise of trying to be objective, trying to be the ones who just want to see the elite fight the elite and all of the etceteras. Cookie Monster, Body Work. AC, salute Body Work. Salute Cookie Monster. Salute AC. Sounds like $1 million. Thanks for that microphone checker. I appreciate that. But let me go into this real quick because I haven't went into the gaslighting things. Examples. Gaslighting involves a manipulator making a victim question their sanity, reality, or memory, often by denying or twisting events. Examples include denying a hurtful act, claiming the victim is overreacting, or suggesting they are imagining things. Here's a more common detailed breakdown. Common gaslighting tactics. Denying the obvious. We do that a lot. The obvious is like people playing dumb, and with a person like myself, one of the most disrespectful things is when you undermine or insult my intelligence. What little bit of faculties I have left, I work very hard for them. So for you to undermine them, I do take that personally. Denying the obvious, that never happened. You're just making things up. minimizing or trivializing the victim's feelings. You're too sensitive. Or it was a joke. I was just joking. Creating doubt about the victim's sanity. You're imagining things or you're overthinking it. Narcissists love to do that. Blaming the victim for the manipulator's actions. That happens a lot. It's one fan base. They do this all the time. I call them hypocrites. They are so hypocrites. They will tear down everybody else's resume the minute you start picking their fighter's resume apart or start saying things about them. Oh, here you go. Then they want to pull out the black card. It's like one of the most disgusting things out here online. I can't stand when they do that. Blaming the victim for the manipulator's action. You made me angry, or it's your fault. I'm behaving this way. Cocaine, salute, body work. Withholding information or refusing to engage. Making the victim feel confused and unable to understand what's happening. Right? They will confuse you. Contradictory statements. I just talked about this. This is very popular. Saying one thing, then denying they said it. Make the victim question their own memory. You gotta have a memory like an elephant, which I do. Photographic memory, which is one, and a mind like a memory like an elephant, which is two. Which is two of the things that I possess. It's kind of hard to pull the wool over my eyes. Shifting blame. If you really cared about me, you wouldn't even think about it. If you really cared about making the best fights, then you blah blah. Haney's manipulating weight gain. Weight again. Have you seen the Foster Shakur? Yeah, I have, Koki. I have. Constant criticism. Accusing the victim of being oversensitive, emotional, or neurotic. Switching between charm and rage. That's very good. It's one guy online. He be talking all calm and docile, like the time when he was talking to Deontay Wilder. Oh man, you would have thought that he had ran into like the dime in high school. You know that one dime in high school that everybody was like, man, you would have thought he was talking to the dime in high school. And then the next, you flip a switch, he'll talk about your mother, he'll call her a B, he'll just flip off the handle, all kind of crazy. It's almost like he got Tourette's like that. You know what I'm saying? Me and AC was talking about him, and the day everybody made him cry. The other day, we were just talking about him yesterday. Switching between charm and rage, manipulating the victim with one approach, then resorting to aggression when they resist. They always get real aggressive when you resist what they say, right? But that's enough for the curriculum, man. I haven't done it in a while, you know, and I think it's important because we got to take these things into consideration when we're having our boxing talks. I do want to get into one thing here before we actually get into the meat and potatoes real quick. Let me see, real quick. I want to get into this real quick. Now, this is by The Ring. Surprisingly, this is by The Ring, and they call it the Bible of boxing. You know, a lot of people did perceive it as such, you know, a while ago. But this is by Hans Thermostol, and this came out a day ago. Jaron Ennis laughs whenever Brian Norman is mentioned. He's not good. Jaron Ennis hasn't even finished his victory lap, and Brian Norman Jr. is already being mentioned to him. This past Saturday night, Ennis 34-0, 30 KOs proved that even Montes Stanionis isn't good enough to compete with him. As the Philly star continued his violent beating, the crowd at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City stood on their feet and roared. And once their man officially grabbed the win via corner stoppage in the 6th, they got even louder. It did get loud in there. Stanionis was a worthy fighter, something that Ennis acknowledged. However, the 27-year-old was unable to finish paying him his respect before the good old "what's next" question was thrown his way. Norman, 24, holds the welterweight division's WBO strap. Of course, Ennis is on a belt collecting spree. I don't know what spree they're talking about, but this is just, you know, you can tell how the author of this kind of, you know, we'll get into it. Ennis is on a belt collecting spree and figures that his WBO title would pair nicely with his ring, IBF, and WBA belts. Ultimately, some are convinced that while Ennis is an unbelievable talent, Norman could be the one to beat him. Ennis, though, held his sides as he couldn't stop himself from laughing. Brian Norman is not good, said Ennis to a group of reporters following his win. He's not good. 2 weeks prior to the demolition job Ennis pulled off, Norman, 27-0, 21 knockouts, sent Derek Cuevas to the emergency room via third-round stoppage. There aren't many fighters in the welterweight division that mention Ennis' name. Norman, though, has continually called him out. The freshly crowned champion isn't downplaying Ennis' talent, but he believes he can compete with him on every level. A few words come to Ennis' mind when Norman speaks. Liar, clout chaser, and attention seeker are just a few. The way he sees it, Norman doesn't want anything to do with him. They simply want to keep themselves relevant. They don't do nothing but talk, continue Ennis. They trying to build their name up off of me. Yikes! And like I said, man, I was often accused of not having my feet, not putting boots to ground, not being at fight. So I had made it my mission. I said, man, listen, I got to go see for myself. I got to go see if these fans is real, if the performance is everything and all that. So I went and I said, you know what? Being the person that's always online talking about boxing whenever I have, my time or I complete my objectives in life, I allow myself to get online and play. So I made it my mission to go up there, man, and see what everybody was talking about. Basically do a scouting report, a recon. And I can say he does have a legit fan base. I've already told you, even before I went up there, I said, man, Boots got a cult-like fan base, man. It's comparable, and it is getting, it's starting to kind of resemble the D Hive. I told y'all about the D Hive. That Haney Hive, this Boots Hive is just the same, man. I witnessed some shit earlier today while I was at work perusing the internet, and I saw the interview with Norman over there with ABCD, and man, this is where the gaslighting come in. Salute, AC. What's good with you, man?
Yeah, what's good, bro? Great opening.
Easy. Hold on, Easily Baked. Salute to my hardcore bodywork. Salute, Easily Baked. Salute to the folks in the track. Salute. Yeah. But this is where I wanted to bring you on, because this is the part where I'm gonna integrate, because I know you saw it. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to get into this because AC, even though he's a Haney fan, I don't consider him part of the D Hive. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, man, you the most reasonable Devin Haney fan I've ever met, because he don't bullshit me, you know what I'm saying? He don't bullshit the conversation around it. He's objective, and yeah, he is loyal to being a Devin fan, but he ain't gonna do all that extra bullshit and put whatever, and he's gonna state the obvious, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna go out of the way to tear his guy down, but he is gonna be a realist. And what I'm seeing is the Boots fan base, that Beehive, man, they started to be like, they really started to give me flashbacks of all the things that the D-Hive were doing. And in this interview, one of the things about gaslighting is this. If you have the privilege, right, and I get a knock because you don't get interviews and all this, I'm not going to bend over. I'm not going to bend over and make the back of my head touch the back of my heels or do nothing strange for an interview, man. I'm just not going to do it. It's not in me. You know what I'm saying? I seen Richardson Hitchens. He was within arm reach. My lady was like, who's that? I'm like, that's Richardson Hitchens. She was like, you gonna say? I said, no, I ain't going to bother him. You know what I'm saying? All I had to do was say, you got love for body work, because he would have known, because I'm one of the only ones to do contour. I said, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to do all the extra shit. When it's my time to interview and do whatever, like I was supposed to interview Anthony Sams, the magician. I was supposed to interview him one time, you know, and it fell through. But I was like, I'm not gonna do all this extra shit to try to get an interview and do all this. But what I can say is to these people who actually have the privilege to get somebody on their channel and actually have an interview and speak to them, man. You kind of gotta be in the moment and present. I see a lot of times, and yeah, you can say, oh, you on the outside looking in, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I've interviewed people before, just not boxing people and all that. I've had interactions. I've always had like good communication skills, and one of the things is you have to be, as an interviewer, you have to be present in the moment. And it was something that Brian Norman Sr. has said to ABCD. He said, listen, the fight was not going to happen. This is something that we've been talking about for so long. And it dates back to when that Philly channel, who used to be all cool with the donaires, when they actually booted her off, when she actually told, all of a sudden her mic got clipped or whatever. And they used to be all happy-go-lucky. Oh, yeah, I'm going to see you at the fight. All in the chat, like, oh, hey, salute to Miss Donaire. Oh, that's Rachel. And salute. It was all these pleasantries. But it was when she came out and she spilled those beans, that was the first time. But then doing my homework, when we were talking about over there on Smoke Channel, when we all talked about it and we said that it was a time, we were looking at Eddie. And I was saying, man, this is another, just like I'll be looking at Oscar and Ezapay and stuff when everybody was riding on Shakur. I was looking at Eddie when it came down to Boots and his dealings, because I've seen a lot of the shit he did when he had Devin, right? The stuff that people recognize when Wilder and AJ was going at it, they crucified Eddie at that point in time, and then they forgave him when he had Devin Haney, and they was overlooking. I said, oh man, well, I said, damn. I said, the tale of two Eddies, did a video on. I said, it must be two Eddies walking around this motherfucker, because it's crazy how everybody they was crucifying Eddie when it came down to Wilder and AJ. They forgave him, was riding with him, and gave him all the benefit of the doubt when he had Devin Haney. And now that he got Boots, people was back to in love with Eddie. I said, damn, he's a smooth operator. So I always go back to Eddie and his actions and some of the moves that he did. And I did not only just side with Brian Norman. I said, let's not damage Brian Norman's reputation. Let's not damage Charles Conwell's reputation by you sitting up here sending out these fake ass offers and getting all the public all in the uproar and starting this basically Bloods versus Crips type shit, Spence versus Bud type shit all over again. And that's really what happened, because when it was a time when Cameron put in his paperwork, it was a timeline. He had a time to be able to say, hey, I want to do this. It was the amount that he needed to pay and do all of that. Eddie didn't do that. So all of the offers that went out were felonious. And at the time I said, well, Senior and Eddie, they were just playing the clout chasing game. They were just clouting off of each other and just building up something online. But they both knew that the shit wouldn't happen. Fans to this day still believe it. And when you had a man Favre on your channel and he say, listen, all you gotta do, so if you're gonna be irresponsible enough to get online and troll somebody, blindly troll and try to shit on somebody, like on a man and his father, and bring up all this other shit instead of the man, you can take 5 minutes of your life and go look up the IBF rules and how it works. And you can go back and do a little more homework and look at the timeline of which when Karen said, yeah, I'm going to pursue my mandatory, and he did what most people, like when most people are in those positions, they say, oh, well, you don't push for your man. You can't force your mandatory, but you can get with the sanctioning body, let them know your intentions, tell them what you plan on doing, and then leave it in their hands by their rules. That being the IBF, who everybody complained is one of the most strict. Oh, they didn't have to strip such and such for his belt. You know they're one of the most stringent. So to have the fan base divided on some dumb shit that you can eliminate in 5 minutes is irresponsible. That's the gaslighting part. So if you're gonna sit down and if you're gonna host a guy and he's gonna tell you, listen, it's real simple. This is all you need to do, and you don't do it. You don't do it. You turn right around with him, wait till the man get off and say, oh, well, I know he was ducking that fight, and talk shit about him when he was able to grace you. I'm not about that shit. I'm not for it. Yeah, and I'm like, man, that's crazy that you can be afforded the opportunity to be able to talk to somebody, and you can fumble and be irresponsible of somebody's time like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say relevancy is the new drug, and people want to be a part of something. Go ahead, AC.
Yeah, I was saying that part right there. I was like, why did you do that? You know, you pandering to the trolls that were in your chat, like saying, yeah, I was gonna go after him, but you know, I was trying to be nice. The fuck do you mean you trying to be nice? The man is telling you everything honest. He said, listen, here's the funny thing, and he said this as soon as you started to act, as soon as that first person posted that weird shit, the girl who dropped the thing in the super chat for him. So basically he was like, look, here's the deal. You got these fans out here today that think they know. They never did nothing in boxing, don't know how anything run, but they want to tell you wrong. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yeah, bro, that shit is crazy, because if the man is telling you simply, and he's telling you, yeah, when I talk to the fans, I asked them, the thing you're accusing me of, can you please find where I said I was going to do that? Where the dude was like, did you duck, this could have been how you gonna talk, whatever. Your son ducked out of that fight. And he was like, okay, show me proof. And he was only saying an example of when he was on somebody else shit. He was like, show me proof where we had gotten an offer or a phone call about his last fight. And it's just like, bro, the man is telling you something simple. The easiest way to get to fuck up an idiot's thought process is to say something simple. Because they gotta be all complex and try to make themselves seem intelligent, where true intelligence most often sees things in its simplest form. So it's just like you can't sit here and tell me you're intelligent when you're going out with this crazy astrophysics, fucking, you know, theoretical physics and all of this other kind of shit. Simple explanation. Listen, they already had a fight. They already had the fight. When he got it, they told the man, I believe it was, the announcement was something like 21 or 31 days. Otherwise, the shit was going into purse bid. You fucked around, and Eddie fucked around and let that time pass. So you decided to clout chase off of them, and then Brian Norman Sr. just basically said, listen, we decided to counter his clout chase with our own clout chase.
Right, we gonna entertain his bullshit. Why not? They having us on. It's our time. It's you know, it's publicity. It's blah blah blah. But like, by the letter of the law, the man keep telling you that the fight could not happen. And I seen him when he was over there on TBV. I seen him when he was over here on ABCD. And the same dumb motherfuckers is all in the chat saying you turned down so much money. I'm like, first of all, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I hate when people I hate when fans get into the numbers. I hate when they make that the relevant point. The bottom line is, the shit that we do as fans sometimes and all that, we can go at each other. But when you got somebody like that, it's not gonna get us to fight.
Exactly. Now here's the realest thing he said. He said they'll laugh at him for turning down the $1.7 million, but then try to joke about him because in one fight or in one night or whatever, he made $150,000 to $300,000. Nigga, you ain't gonna make that in your lifetime. The fuck is you laughing at him for? Why you laughing at him? Anybody that's within earshot of distance, please put in the chat if you had an opportunity to make, let's just say $150,000 in one night, and a nigga tried to laugh at you, would you look at him like he's fucking stupid? Like, you broke ass stupid motherfucker? Like, how the fuck can you really just laugh at me because I just bagged $150,000? Oh, you just got $150,000. Yeah, how much did you make today? Mm-hmm. And it just becomes simple. It's just simple math like that to me. If I went to sleep yesterday and by the time I woke up today, I had $2 more in my pocket, then that's $2 more than what I had yesterday. So I'm doing good. And sometimes you just gotta think of it like that. So when these fans out here start laughing at fighters because what they make and say that fight isn't good because that ain't a good fight because he don't bring nothing to the table. He got paid $300,000 on this last fight. How do you justify that? How the fuck do you justify his boxing ability to what his purse was? And he's a young fighter. Like how did the two equal in your mind to say no, he's not ready because his last fight he didn't make $6 million? I'm like, guys, we gotta stop doing that. What kind of fucking fans are you? Like, seriously, I don't want to have this type of conversation with you if you're not gonna just look at things for real. It doesn't matter. It is the fight itself. If I made $300,000 today, I beat his ass. I make a fucking $1 million tomorrow.
Right, and you on your own path. Like now, if our paths collide and it's good business, it's like you don't have to. Like I could do my own album. Like I was rapping before I even knew that you was a rapper. Like if we're gonna feature, they got to work out for both of us.
Yeah,
you're not gonna rake me over the coals or force me to do this, and you can say, oh, you bodied me on my track, and I gotta acquiesce to let you have the hook and give you the you got to come up with the concept, and all I don't even get a full 16. You know what I'm saying? I don't even get a full 16. I get 8. You know, no, man, no. If we're gonna co-feature, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna handle it, and we're gonna talk. You're not gonna like rush me. But this is what I want to say about this. I seen this guy, man, a while ago, and I used to rock with him, but I knew that he was just a fucking he's as old as he is, he's just a follower. He just and I respected him to a certain extent, but I'm seeing a pattern. It's just like when Coach Calvin, because he was part of that community, that alphabet community, when Coach something happened, whatever, and this is before, because him and the other one, you know what I'm saying, his little protege or whatever, his tier or whatever the fuck you want to call them, they weren't always big Tank fans, because I remember, because me and his protege used to go at it when he was a Devin Haney fan, and somehow he converted over and convinced people that he's just this big, well, whatever. But I remember when he was part of that community, and he said something about Coach Calvin. He was like, yeah, Coach Calvin the type, when he get around his boys, he want to act. I was like, hold on. I jumped in the chat and I said, listen, man, Coach Calvin and them, they be over there on the rise all the time. I said, you could easily just put your comment in there or ask to speak to them. They'll let you up there at any point in time. And he was saying that on his channel trying to be cute. But it's like once he got kicked out of that community, he had nothing but smoke for people in that community, aside from his protege. And now I'm starting to see that all he is a parrot.
Yeah.
All he do is he echo with his twin. Remember I say they like the twins, like the twins, like when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. He's like Danny DeVito. You know what I'm saying? They both bald headed, both a little older, and he just parrot off. And since the guy that he's parroting off of, he's all of a sudden this over the. I've never and he's done this. He did it with the Earl Spence shit. He was doing it with Tank and Shakur shit, and now he's just this 100%. I was the first one to talk about Boots. I'm like, man, when? No, you a politician. So the parrot is copying off of the politician, and it's gonna fuck around and get his feelings hurt one day. And it did today. I'm glad Brian Norman jumped back. Man, Brian Norman Sr. jumped back on there. It's like, man, you bitch ass nigga. Like, man, shut the fuck up, your old ass, dumb ass, talking about you was gonna press me and all that. I'm like, see, that's when showing up. Like, so you the type that when you around your boys, you act a certain kind of way. And then try to gaslight, talking about, what, press me? Like, what? I ain't say, nigga, do you have delusion? Do you have what they call that, dementia, nigga? Like you just said. And you know the nigga was probably, most people when they get off, they gonna listen for a little while anyway, dummy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the man gave you his time, man. Like, and the shit like that'll keep stirring the pot and keep getting people all worked up. And this shit, because it's so close to the Spence and Bud shit. This shit is it's going to overshadow. It's going to get worse, man. It's going to get worse. It's going to get just like that shit was, to where you gotta put your land in, your draw your line in the sand, and it's either Boots or it's Norman, and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure. But that shit was just hilarious when he popped back up. He was like, "Oh, here he is again." And then the nigga was like, "Yo, man, fuck you. See, this is why I'm happy I'm the OG that I am. Because I get to catch bitch-ass niggas like you." And then the look on his face, his eyes got all big. He kind of tried to sit up straight. I was dying. I was like, oh my God. Perfect, bro. You couldn't have done that shit no better. Because that was some bullshit. It was bullshit that he kept on letting the dude try to post a question about who's the youngest champion or whatever. And it's just like, he didn't say the youngest champion in boxing ever.
Right.
Do you feel what I'm saying? He was like, in whatever, my son is the youngest champion.
In that interview, I'm telling you, man, like, this is for my intellectuals. That interview needs to be studied, because the man sat right there early in the interview, and Celia told him, he said, "See, man, I'm not really worried about it." He said, "I know fans gonna be their fans or whatever. And yeah, I have fun with it a little bit. He said, "But when they don't know the facts and they just want to say the same thing over and over again, I already know those are like idiot fans, right?" And the man, ABCD, he sat there and agreed with him. He's like, "Yeah, you're right." So I'm like, you the type that'll sit there and agree and smile in my fucking face and then wait till I'm gone and then put the knife in my back. Like, you just displayed your fucking character.
Yeah.
That was your whole character online. Like, just to appease some niggas online that don't know you. Some niggas online, as soon as you have something that they can point a finger at and say, "Oh, you were wrong, ha, they're gonna do away with your dumb ass.
Yep. That's why you stay 10 toes down. You just say, "You know what? I'm gonna interview the guy," and stuff like that. I'm just gonna read the room how the interview go, and if he's giving us his path, a single dad, you know what I'm saying, who's trying to raise his 3 sons, and you know what I'm saying, got one of his sons into boxing, and he raised a world champion, blah blah blah, kept him out of trouble, kept him out of a lot of bullshit. Then why couldn't you just applaud that man on being that kind of father? You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Because that's what they say on the other side about us, that we ain't dads, we deadbeat dads, we this and that. You get an opportunity as an older cat to talk, OG to OG, then keep it 100. I don't give a fuck if you fans want me to go after him and, try to belittle him or belittle his son because y'all heavy Boots fans or whatever, or y'all taking some sort of personal gripe that you somehow, some way feel you lost out on money because Brian Norman and Jaron Boots Ennis didn't happen, and now you forever scorned at Brian Norman. Like, he left your bitch ass at the altar. Like, pull them fucking panties up or change them shit, put on some real drawers, or go to the fucking store. If you still not ready for the big boys drawers, go to the store and buy the little boys drawers with the Spider-Man and Superman print on it. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You feel what I'm saying? So my thing is this, man. I have to respect, for me being a dad, and the realest thing he said, and I've been trying to tell a lot of dudes this from day one. I was like, look, we can get mad at the dadagers for some of the shit that they say, but I'm always gonna stay 10 toes down on any dadager that's not gonna fold and say, yeah, this dude gonna beat my son ass. Like, no pops is gonna do that. You could say all that other weird shit. They tried to kill my son. They slashed our tires. I don't give a fuck about that. What I'm gonna rock with you 100% on day in, day out. If you told me ain't nobody beating your son ass, I'm gonna be like, that's motherfucking right, my nigga. You don't let these niggas, whether you doubt it or whatever. Just like the boxer ain't supposed to say, yeah, that nigga beat my ass, his fucking father ain't supposed to say. So fans is out here mad, like Brian Norman said, that the fact that they don't like confidence.
Right.
They don't like when the motherfucker really believe in himself.
And they trying to lump him in there with Bill. Like, yeah, they both dadagers, but it's different. I don't think Brian Norman is as extreme. Like, yeah, like, and I guess I relate more because he only like a year older than me. I'm 44, he's 45. Like, we close in age. And a lot of things he was saying kind of resonate with me because I can relate. Like he was saying, man, I don't let my son wear no skinny jeans, and we wasn't. And I had to do it. I'm like, I relate to that because me and my lady be talking about that shit all the time, like this new era and how people are coming up and like how the dudes is like soft, and we talk about that shit all the time. So I get where you're coming from. And then Atlanta was my second home for a long time, so I know how it get down. I know all about how it is down there, especially in that environment, man. In that environment, you can't, you gotta kind of be like that, especially when you got a young man, you know what I'm saying, that you raising. So I respect it, and I said that whole Spence and Bud thing taught me a lesson, man. I was like, I'm invested, but I'm not invested to the point to where, like, and I was saying this back in real time when that whole shit was going on. I said, man, we'll probably pull up and smoke. One of us will probably pull up and smoke one of each other before they even fight. I said, can they at least fight before we smoke each other? I used to make that joke all the time. And I'm like, I'm invested in the fights because I want to see the good ones. But I'm not going to be invested the way I disrespect somebody like that or whatever. It's just like when OK got up there, OK 86. When he got up there and he was, even though, you know, over the last 18 months, I haven't agreed with Shakur's moves. I've been giving a lot of heat to Shakur because I don't like his moves. Like, he's one of my guys, but I don't like his moves. That's like the way he was talking to Shakur. I'm like, that's still the fighter, nigga. Like, he's still the fighter. Like, who are you, nigga? Like, there's some people out here online that do content or whatever, and their egos have gotten so big that they just believe that they can say any fucking thing that they, you know what I'm saying? Like, they are in it. They actually in the industry. We like and admire and we talk about the shit, but they in it.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent, you can't just say whatever you like. You shouldn't. If you was a rational, mature person, you know what I'm saying, your ego wasn't so inflated, you would check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that's just what I'm saying. And these are the kind of people that's going to usher a lot of sheep right off of a cliff or into the path of destruction. I'm telling you, man, because some of these people don't play. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people don't play, man. They got crash outs. They got people that when you go out there to these fights and you do all that, because I'm sure it was a couple crash outs when I went to that Boots fight. You think I was out there like, man, fuck Boots? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know who he is now. I'm out here looking, observing, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking around, you know what I'm saying? People my surroundings, seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm here to see if the man really is the goods. I'm here to see the performance, but I ain't crashing. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, acting dumb with it.
Yeah.
But that's my piece on that, man. I just think that should be a humbling experience, man. And anybody that's still riding with it, that's why I didn't want to talk about it. And whenever we be over there on smoke session, whenever people bring up the whole, man, he ducked, I'm like, man, it's a turn off for me. I don't even really want to talk boxing with nobody like that because you're not gonna get nowhere, and you can't convince them. After with all, it's just like in the age of technology now. We got access to Google. It's just people won't take 5 minutes to actually look up and see if something and verify something, but they'll spend 3 hours online talking about
it. Argue with you about it, and then when you just say, "Why don't you Google it?" I don't gotta Google it because I know. Oh shit! Wow. That's different, and that's what that's where I just kind of be like, yeah, you're just ignorant, and you just basically admitted, I'm gonna embrace this ignorant. Fuck your facts, fuck the truth, fuck the fact that you just made me look stupid. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm just gonna stay 10 toes down on my ignorance. It's because it makes me look tough. And I'm like, no, it's not making you look tough. It made you look stupid. Because anyone who willfully embraces ignorance is actually a ignorant motherfucker. You can't get mad if moving forward, I always address you as you ignorant motherfucker. You feel what I'm
It's
saying?
like prime example was the other day, bro, when I was like, when I said, man, like Shakur been saying he won a tank fight, and I said he left a spot, because this has been I've been standing on these principles and these actions since day one, where I said you was over there where you, and it was 2 other belts, it was only 1 other belt on the quote unquote other side of the street, and that was Tank. So you leave the island that you're on where there's 2 other belts to go somewhere else where there's no other belts. Tell the guy, the owner of that island, don't even try to negotiate a tank fight, but you want a tank fight. Oh man, here you go. You always lying. Okay, so tell me how it went. Well, he did tell Eddie not to negotiate. Okay, my nigga. So you just don't like the truth. Like, it's the dumb. No, but you just saying that to hate on Shakur. It's like, hold on, bro. Did he tell Eddie and them not to try to? Yeah, but it wasn't like that. It was because he. Okay, my nigga. So you don't like the truth. Then that's what I'm realizing, man. A lot of people don't like the truth. And what Brian Norman said was, he said it perfect. He said they don't want to acknowledge it because it does not go along with the narrative that they want to stand on and perpetuate.
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to. People don't really, I'm telling you, people don't like if you ask somebody how was the soup and you say, man, it was a little salty. Oh, what do you mean? It's like, hold on,
your palate is fucked up. You don't know good shit if it fell on you. Like, nah, you just didn't like it.
It was just a little salt. I ain't say it was nasty. I ain't say it was disgusting or nah, I'll probably have it again with just a little, we don't use salt like that. That's just the truth. Because somebody asked me, hey man, how was it? You know what I'm saying? How was it? Somebody say something like, yeah, it was fried a little harder than you. Okay, all right, cool. I know next time. Or, it was, I could have used a little more, whatever. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's not nothing to get bent out of shape for. And that's why I always confront the truth. Right? But what I'm seeing, I'm gonna get to I don't want Koki to think I'm avoiding his stuff, because I want you to chime on this too, and I'll get back to this. Foster should take on Ford and move to 135. Did you see them going back at it? Did you see that whole fiasco, AC?
Man, I seen the whole fiasco. I seen the live interview. I seen what Shakur said when homeboy tried to get at him like, yo, who was the towel boy? And then the dude says, fuck them niggas. I was like, bro, what are you doing? You told us, you're telling us that these 2 fights are next. You told O'Shaki they starving because just like he got bigger fish to fry, you got bigger fish to fry. You telling us it's Zepeda and Tank next. Show me. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna wait in hindsight. And I'm gonna see if you live up to your words. You feel what I'm saying? Because O'Shaq was gully with it. He was like, I get this WBO, I do my thing. You can't hide from me either way. Either one of them 2 can't hide from me. And if he get that WBO, he could challenge Keyshawn or he could challenge Shakur. It's just like, wow. You guys out here nowadays, I'd love to hear what you guys got to say about that one. You feel what I'm saying? Because the man is saying, don't nobody want to fight me. I can't get a fight.
Last Puma Skills, what up, man? Salute. He said AC and body work. What's up? Salute, Last Puma
What's
Skills.
good,
Salute.
He's saying all of this stuff. Meanwhile, me and Bodywork can honestly name at least 5 motherfuckers who called him out within the last 2 months. But you can't get a fight, and then you telling us you'll get murdered if you fight O'Shaki Foster and not do the Zepeda or Tank shit. But you was willing to fight Cordelia, Floyd Schofield, and you landed on Patty. Everybody only gave you a mulligan because Floyd Schofield was pulled out of that fight. So now you telling us, yeah, this is a Pater thing. Oscar, make this a Pater fight. Bro, if the rumors are true and that fight was actually mandated, that shit saved your life. That shit saved your life.
Man, you know what? I'm not budging on that, man. I said it was dumb from the start, man. I said it was dumb. You can't go sign with Eddie and get a fight with Tank. You can't go sign with Eddie and get a fight with Zepeda. And Eddie just lost the purse bid, bruh. He lost several. He lost that Karen purse bid. The second fight, he lost it. That's not the only. He lost the purse bid for Haney. He lost it. Nobody even bid on it.
Yeah.
Like, so you and because you done got up now, your value is your value. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your value or price tag should come along with the accomplishments you have and all that. But like I always say, man, why you think there's so many vacant houses out here? Because a house is only worth what people are willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
So you can't say, oh, well, it's gonna go to purse. Well, if it go to purse bid and the wrong person get it, like if Oscar do it, if he decide to do it, but what if Oscar don't even bid on it? It'd be kind of wild if he don't, but what if he don't? You think you're gonna get more that way? It's like, no, man. People like, it's like, man, you got too many yes men around you, brother. Like, you are too talented. You have too much cachet to be moving this way. You have, and then it's crazy. It's just like who was saying it? Was it you or Pop? I think it was Pop. You chasing around a mandatory.
Yeah.
You chasing your mandatory, bro. Talking about nobody want to fight. We played the game in my Saw series. We played the game like nobody wants to fight him. We said that was an emphatic false. It's just you don't want, you running around saying this porridge is too hot and this porridge is too cold and this porridge is a Pater, my mandatory is just right. I want that bad. In the same breath saying that it's a mismatch. It's like, that's not what we want to see. Like, so what do you think about Foster and Ford? Like, to answer that question, what do you think about Foster and Ford?
I'm gonna say it like this. If Oshaki's trying to, like, Raymond Ford, in my opinion, I'm just gonna keep it a beam with you. He's trying to talk himself into a championship fight. When I looked at the rankings last night, I'm seeing, he's 4th, 5th, and 8th in the sanctioning bodies. So it's like, okay, you're talking, so it moves you, it generates the fight and it moves it up. I don't really have a problem with that. I honestly don't have a problem with that at all. If Oshaki's not willing to unify, but according to Oshaki, he wants that WBO belt, so that means he's going after that Navarrete fight. You feel what I'm saying? So, Raymond, you just got up there. For whatever reason, you lost to Nick Ball. Reestablish yourself. Run your own race up there again. And if Oshaki's gone, he's gone. You feel what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that Stephen Fulton is not there available. And if Stephen Fulton is available, then go after Stephen Fulton. Why is it that it has to be Oshaki Foster? And sometimes this is the thing I look at between, young fighters and shit like that. Like, look, if you can't get that guy, who's the next best thing?
Right, you gotta have another option. You gotta be willing to, like, you see what Oshaki's saying. He said, I want to cut the head off. And I thought it was kind of weird. That he, like, you ducking Ray. It's like, how am I ducking Ray? How? Yeah. Like, I got a strap. I'm coming for you. Like, and you trying to. But this is another thing. This is, I don't know, man. This man, Shakur, man. I can't even. I'm about exhausted with trying to give out the advice to Shakur, man. Like, I'm just I'm just waiting to see how this is the age well game. I call this the age well games, man. Whereas we're going to see if the things and the choices and the combination of everything that you've been saying and doing is going to work in your favor, because there's too much smoke. You got enough smoke to where you the A side, my guy. You could be sending out contracts to all these little niggas and sign it or shut the fuck up. Yeah. Sign this or shut the fuck up, and go on your killing spree. Get your bag and make easy work out of them if you so bad. But it's not a good look where everybody you fight, and then it's another little brother. You and Ray Ford, that's your little brother again. Like, how much family you got in boxing, my guy?
Yeah, goddamn. I mean, is that an extension to Keyshawn family as well? It's like, yo, I thought it was DB3, not DB10. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, bro, y'all gotta stop with all this lil bro and big bro and cousins and all of this other stuff. This is a business. It's the hurt business. You feel what I'm saying? This is why people are going to stop fucking with y'all and look at a motherfucker like Abdullah Mason and say, yeah, he don't give a fuck about none of that.
But that's little bro too. He was trying to say little bro. Mason ain't talking like that, but back a while ago, that's what he was trying to do. I'm like, Mason don't got that same energy. Yeah. Mason say, listen, when it's my time, I'm in the rankings, I'm in this sanction. He's in Keyshawn's lane and he's in Shakur's lane. He say, whichever one I get first or whoever, it's on. And you don't hear no smoke. You don't hear nothing from neither one of them about that. That's a whole different story. But Koki say, if Haney or Garcia wins, they should fight Boots, in my opinion. I'll let you go first on that, AC.
No, go ahead, because I'm gonna wait for this fire shit to come.
Okay, well, in my opinion, man, like, look, man, I hate to say this, man, because I gave Boots his salute. I said, yep, he made his rite of passage. He's legitimized. That's why I came up with this. He made his rites of passage, right? But this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at when it comes to Boots, man. I'm not willing to invest in any energy to put that forward. One, because when it comes to Ryan, I need to see Ryan. I need to see Ryan and who he is now, a dedicated, focused Ryan. I need to see who he is, because I always thought he had a good skill set. I just said that, man, he's almost like a part-time boxer, or boxing wasn't his everything. You know, I think he might have got a little bit closer, but it's like, how are you gonna go all in when you know you got this endorsement and you can model, you can do all this? It's like, are you gonna be all the way in? I'm not sure. So I gotta see him, and I don't know if he would be competitive with Boots. I know he got the left hook and all that, you know what I'm saying? But I think Boots is more athletic enough to not let that be a factor. And then I gotta see Ryan not going to that Taco Shell thing that he do. So that's one thing. But then I don't want to go down this whole Devin thing, because I had been saying this for years. I said, man, with Devin's size and the weight class that he really need to be up there with Boots. Oh man, you just want to see him get beat. I'm like, man, but if they the same size, man, and that's the weight class he should be campaigning in, why not? Oh man, that's just because you hate Devin. It's like, man, come on, man. So I don't want to me, that's toxic. And for me, and when it comes to Boots, I'm tired of these guys moving up for Boots. Like, it's like right now with the Boots hive that he have, they standing up at the mountaintop yelling and screaming that ain't nobody fit to fight him. He'll beat shit down everybody's leg, and the only reason why people want to see him move up is because they want to see him get beat. I'm like, no. I put out a video with Sabril Matias saying, listen, man, it's a hard time for you getting the fight. It's a hard time for Boots getting the fight. Y'all both share the IBF. Let's get it cracking. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing if you lose to Boots, because I mean, if everybody see Boots as that guy. And that's why I said I didn't want to see T.O. go up there, because T.O., you know what I'm saying, he's already He was at 35. He moved to 40. That'll be another guy coming down from 35, going up to 47, where Boots should be at 54. I'm tired of seeing these guys move up. Now, if it happened or somebody emerge, you know, that come up and move up and do it, maybe Gary Antoine could do it before it's time for Boots to go up, maybe. But like outside of that, I'm not enthused for none of these little dudes coming from these lower weight classes moving up. I was enthused for Devin to do it, but that shit gonna give me a headache, man. That shit will get so toxic. Oh my, if you think this shit with Brian Norman and Devin, if Devin ever said, hey, or they started pushing that Devin versus bullshit, man,
If
you
they
ain't gonna be able
started
to go
pushing,
talk boxing nowhere online.
yeah, I'm gonna say it like this: as a Devin Haney fan, I've always talked since the Loma fight. I was talking, listen, after Loma, skip 140 if you're gonna go up to 148 and do something up there, snatch yourself a belt, but get up at 147. Dudes was like, why wouldn't he just stop at 140? Why go up to 147? I said, because at 147, I believe he'll grow into his own, maybe get a little bit more power because he got some weight behind him, maybe not be so skittish to pause for a minute and really sit down on his punches. You feel what I'm saying? But here's the honest to God truth. For me, as long as Boots was under that 10-pound rehydration, I had confidence. Now that he's not under that 10-pound rehydration, you might want to wait that nigga out. Yeah, I'm just keeping it a bean. You might really want to just both of them. You guys might want to wait this guy out because remember, he's the bigger guy. Regardless, shrinking down to make 147. You guys are medium-sized guys shrinking down to make 35 and 40. You feel what I'm saying? So in that aspect, when you just talking about strength, power, and athleticism, you two guys will not be able to match up. And I have zero love for Ryan Garcia, but Devin Haney trying to go after a Boots fight right now, you're going to lose.
Brother, that's what they are doing, AC. I hate to break the news, but
Bro,
that's
go
what
after
they
the Barrios
are
fight.
doing. They
and
are
sit on
waiting.
that fucking belt. Go after the Barrios fight and sit on that belt.
That's what they are doing. They are trying to wait. That's why I say, man, Boots is in an interesting position because everybody know the clock is ticking. You can say all you want. Oh man, I got nutritionist and this and that. It's like, yeah, but your body, man, your body. Me and my lady were just talking about it, man. Your body would tell on you, man. Like my body be telling on me every day. I'm only 44. My body tells on me. I do something I'm supposed to do. My body gonna tell on me. And the older you get, the more your body's gonna tell on you. And I don't know if you heard me, Bold. I said salute, Bold. But with the I don't know, man. When going back to Shakur real quick to shut this door on Shakur, right? On the Shakur part of this, Koki says something. He says Shakur thinking he's a big sell is what's weird about the Foster situation. I mean, that's another guy that would be accepted if Lamar came up and did what he did with Tank, right? And Foster is actually actively saying, okay, cool, there's history, there's a storyline, it'll be money, y'all both champions. It's like every time, this is my thing. You might think you know, you big boy and that he's the little guy and all that, but like at the same time, this is what I always say. Whenever some kind of opponent arises or some kind of opposition arises, the first thing Shakur or his OnlyFans do is excuse it away. It's like, that's a great fight, man. When you going, like, you be complaining about all these guys. We've been doing this. We did this rundown a long time ago. We said, okay, if it was 5 fights, you got to factor that Morataya was going to be in there. This is before Keyshawn had the belt, so it was either going to be a Baranchek or a Loma, right? We had word that Navarrete had a signed contract. We had word that Jermaine Ortiz had a signed contract. Tim Bradley put out the information on Navarrete, and if you think about it, if Navarrete got in there with Conceição, if Shakur got in there with Conceição, you got a reason that Navarrete was scheduled to be in there with Shakur at some point in time, because that's how Top Rank do it. But
Yep.
people want to be ignorant to that. Jermaine Ortiz said he's had a signed contract with Shakur name on it, and it took a while. And then the T.O. fight popped up, and he wound up getting in there with T.O. So Jermaine Ortiz got in there with Lomachenko. He got in there with T.O., and he said he had a contract with Shakur name on it. You got a reason that he would have got in there with Shakur. It's more. That's just a couple people. You got the dude Jadier Herrera. Before Kid Austin was bluffing or whatever, like you know what I'm saying, that was scheduled, that happened, whatever. Shakur, I mean, I ain't talking about Austin until he do something. I gave myself permission not to talk about him, because until he tell us he got tapped on the shoulder like you said, or we get some more answers, I'm not gonna, because I was disappointed that fight didn't happen, right? We got Jadier Herrera. Now you got Oshaki. You said that you was in talk with Lamont Roach, like that y'all had already agreed. But when it came down to Tank, it was my hands hurt. I need my hands to heal. When Tank got the draw, I was like, oh yeah, I'll fight Roach. And now it's all Zepeda, but no hands. It don't make sense to me. But it's I can name more people that will fight Shakur than ones that won't.
Now, here's the funny thing. There's a boxer out there. Somehow or another, he found out that Brian Norman was taken out of that fight before it was posted. He puts out a tweet. His tweet gets buried. You feel what I'm saying? Something Scooby. I forgot his first name.
Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt Scooby.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't Friday, it was Saturday. Kurt puts out the tweet, yo, me and my team ready. You know, I'm on weight. I can be on the next plane out there. Simple as that. Why weren't we ever told about Kurt Scooby?
You know, Shakur's big draws, man. He ain't Kurt who? He gonna say Kurt who? Because think about it.
You gonna say Kurt who, but you fought Patty who?
Right, but think about this. Remember I did that video and I was saying I forgot what I titled it. But when I was talking about Turkey's replacement, how Joseph Parker, when Daniel Dubois fell out, which was already a tough fight, they didn't say, oh man, he's not going to fight that kind of guy coming off in replacement, because everybody knew that Bacoli was a motherfucking very dangerous. He was drawing comparisons from Big George, RRP to Big George. Nobody said nothing. Nobody said anything about, oh man, this could be so dangerous. Joseph, because he had a choice. I imagine that he had a choice. Like, would you do it? Would you be? And he was like, yeah. He went in there and did what the fuck he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? There's thoughts out there. There's ideas out there. I never heard any concrete thing about being a flop, but he hit the man upside his head. He ain't feel right. They didn't want to jeopardize a fight with a Jogba. So his corner said, hey man, that's enough, right? There was no talks of that. But then you had Jadier Herrera. Now, this is before we actually seen him fight, but you had Jadier Herrera, which was deemed to be a power puncher, a southpaw, you know, confident, a young guy, undefeated, all of that, right? Looking way more of a threat than Josh Padley, and people, his OnlyFans was saying, oh, man, he couldn't just fight a guy like that, like coming off, like, nah, man, they wouldn't do that, man. He got to see how his hands is. It's like it's always convenient.
But the rumor was that JD Herrera was supposed to be in Dubai for whatever reason. He was there. So
I think he lives there.
Yeah, some shit like that.
He lives there. He in the United Arab Emirates. He's in the United Arab Emirates, which is like in that same general vicinity. But he lives over there. Like he stays over there.
Exactly. So the point I'm making is like he was there. That's a car ride, a bus, a private jet, a short ass, less than an hour private jet trip to get that man from there to there. So it was like, nah, his team just wanted this and that because he was the only one. Yeah, that's what you told us. But now there are tweets, there's other evidence that says that's not necessarily what happened. So therefore, I'm staying 10 toes down on that tap on the shoulder. Do you feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, it'll make it extremely hard for me to believe anything otherwise because all the evidence is right there. You had two tough opponents, and then they're gonna say no, it was Shakur's team who picked Josh Padley. So who's at this spear tip of the team? Who himself said, listen, I'm gonna be a part of more of these investigations so people stop talking shit about me. That's what Shakur said. So you knew who the options were. You knew, and you still chose Josh Padley. So I seriously doubt Eddie Hearn gonna bring a fight to you or involve you in a fight where he did not inform you on who your opponent is.
Yeah, man. It's always weird because it's like I'm not anti-Shakur. I just don't like his move. I don't doubt his skills. I'm not one of them people saying, what has he done? It's just these moves and the hypocrisy. It's like the hypocrisy. It's like you move the goalposts on you burning bridges, bro, in epic fashion, man. You are like that towel boys stuff. Man, you talking about the hand that feeds you? The hand that feeds you, man. The hand that feeds you has now turned into the hand that rocks the cradle. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like it's weird, bro. He's in purgatory right now, and I hope he find out a way. I think a fast. I know you ain't Muslim and all that. You know, you might not believe in fasting, but I don't proclaim to be a part of anything, and I still fast. Like I still deny myself as a fast from social media. Might be in order. Let me see. What else did I do? What else did I miss? People was cooking in the comments. I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed to miss out on that Kid Austin fight. That was the one. I know, man. My old head, man. He was like, man, like every time we talk about it, he's like, man, I wanted to see that fight. I said I did too. Not saying I ain't think Shakur might, you know what I'm saying, was going to do what he needed to do. But I thought that that was a fight that could have went. Anything could have happened in that fight, man. Anything could have happened in that fight, you know. And I'm mad that we didn't get it. But let me see what else I missed here. Let me see. Let's talk about a little. I believe DHP will hit harder at 47. He way too big for 40. It's like he was at 35. Yeah, I mean, you know, if it's anything like if he's anything how he was when he fought Regis, definitely he'll have more. He'll have more power. His punch resistance to be better. You know, because when you're shrinking down, that's the biggest thing. That's just like ballooning up. See, people will be like, oh man, they be nervous because they always say you have less fluids on your brain to protect your brain from rattling around in your skull, right? But the other thing is, when you're down a lower weight class and you can balloon up, man, that increases your punch resistance way more too. So it's almost like it's an extra quality that people who don't rehydrate that way don't have, you know. So that's one thing. But yeah, naturally he should be stronger. He should have more energy. He should be able to recover faster. It's been a move. It's like the move that Jahai made early. When Jahai was down at welterweight, he was a fleet of foot guy with fast hands, lots of movement, and he blew up like overnight. He had a growth spurt, and then he was up there with the big boys that was punching, but he got to go through the ringer a little bit and get used to the punch resistance and all that. So it's gonna be interesting because he's not used to being up there under the big bright lights with those small gloves with people of that weight class. So yes, he'll have his benefits of being stronger, being able to recover, having better punch resistance, being more energetic, more lively. He'll have all of that, but then he's also going to be up there with guys that size, that's punching a little harder than the lower weight class guys. So, and they're shrinking down and then rehydrating up, and then rehydrating back up at that higher weight. So, it's some pluses and minuses on that, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely is. And this is why I was my thing with Devin has always been just go up there and really, really acclimate yourself to that weight class, because that's where I think once you get up there, that's where you end your career, because it'll kind of like be perfect for your body size. You feel what I'm saying? And you hone your body, hone your skills, fix whatever flaws you got, because what's the saying? A smaller guy who's a puncher, when he moves up, when he moves up in weight, he becomes a better boxer. So that's kind of the school of thought where I come from. It's like, I think for me, when I look at you, you weren't a big puncher then, but moving up, it might work in the opposite, because now you're more closer to your walk around weight. You get a trainer that'll really teach you how to sit down on your punches and use that extra weight you gained and stuff like that, while you're still gonna retain your athleticism. So for me, 147 was always the target for me for Devin Haney, and I just, going for the Booth fight right now. That's a pretty dangerous move, man. That's a pretty dangerous move. I'm not 100% on board with it, but if it's something you feel you can do, hey, go for it. You feel what I'm saying? Go for it. I'm just gonna say, as a fan of yours, on this one, I might not be backing you.
Yeah, that's why they that one for. And nobody's saying nothing about the catch weight. It's like, it's weird because it's different energy. Tank got crucified for giving Ryan a pound, because it was a 135 fight, but giving Ryan a pound so he wouldn't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel and rehydrate all the way up. He get that, but then people can just do a catch weight and it's cool and nobody says nothing. So I'm all for that. It just shows by action that they're not really. That's like a stepping stone to get to 47. So I don't even put them in that conversation, even though they got that man ranked at number 1. But Johnny Allison, no. I like Andy Cruz. What I was saying is, because I thought it too when I saw it. What I was saying, Johnny, is that happened on April 1st. That was like, just like Turkey saying that the fight was off and all that other stuff. Those were April
all those boxing matches.
I'm not saying Andy didn't want the smoke. I'm not saying he wouldn't fight Abdullah. I'm just saying that that was put out there as an April Fool's. That was really an April Fool's. Not saying that he wouldn't fight him or nothing like that.
Yeah,
I like Andy.
Hey, Johnny, don't feel bad, because they got a little short with me repeating the same thing, and Body was like, nah, that was an April Fool's thing. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it was an April Fool's, man.
If that shit was real, bro, I was like, listen, everybody's turning the screws to Shakur and Keyshawn, because now you don't want to fight this person. This person's about to, well, you couldn't do whatever with this person. Yeah, there's a caveat to it, but does it really matter? Because you feel what I'm saying? Now, Keyshawn got that fight, and I was like, look, if Abdullah get that Andy Cruz jump off, it makes Keyshawn look bad. And dudes is like, what do you mean? That was all in the amateurs. That was this, and that. And it's like, okay, but y'all forgot that one of those fights, he was a pro. And he went into the amateurs. So you were a professional fighter that got your ass beat by an amateur. And you don't want to get your get back? That's crazy work. But I really, I'm like, I fucks with Keyshawn, though. I like him, but this is one of those little things. I'm going to keep that mental note in the back of my head and be like, Key, you got to fix that situation, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So if you ain't willing to fix it, and let's just say Abdullah do get that fight, it makes you look really, really bad. And if Abdullah beat him, it makes you look even worse. Like, the fast track is not always the best thing, because Abdullah out here doing it from the mud. So
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of pulled back off of Keyshawn because he picked De Los Santos. I want to get everybody's opinion on this Keyshawn versus De Los Santos too. Put that in the comment section. But I don't know how Key is looking at Andy, man. I still don't. I never really agree with the whole "what have you done" and you just making your name off of me and all. It's like no, he's climbing up in the ranks, and to me, I think that Keyshawn's kryptonite is the pure boxer. That's why I'm until I leave here. I'm gonna say that that's probably one of the reasons why he'll never fight Shakur, and the reason why he's not looking to get in there with Andy. And if you look at it, he's not getting in with any like boxers. Like it's not the guys that brawl or got the power and all that he fit that he's shying away from. But look at De Los Santos. He's like a boxer puncher. You know, he's like a boxer puncher. But like maybe a Ryu might be more competitive than what we thought.
Ooh.
You know, maybe because he's a boxer. Like those boxers, like the ones that do more finesse, like a Cabrera or something. Surprisingly, that fight might look kind of weird because those finesse boxers that can use their feet and you know what I'm saying, like a Sandor Martin. Like a Sandor Martin. That shit might look, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the boxers that he's shying away from. I think that's his kryptonite. It's not gonna be the boxer punchers or the punchers.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I think so too, because you know, the Cuban boxing style is based on pure boxing points. I'm not trying to knock you out unless I'm a heavyweight, but other than that, it's all points. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know about that one, bro. Like you got to get that get back, man. Because if you continue to let that shit rock like that, then the problem's gonna be, listen, this is what was going on with David Morrell and David Benavidez. People were clamoring, and then when Morrell moved up to 75 after David Benavidez, people were like, oh, now you gotta see it. David Benavidez read the room and he said, you know what, let me take this motherfucker out right now. Because if I don't, I let this dude get any more energy, this shit's gonna start to get ridiculous and it's gonna get in my way.
You remember when Tank was like, because I remember when I heard Coach Kenny said, he was saying, oh man, he was saying Frank, he's like, oh man, he said, Frank, man, we gotta get him while he early. I was like, oh man, that don't sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like when the outside look at it, I know how the critics gonna take and run with this. And then Tank told him, he's like, man, it's too early for you, man. He's like, you should wait. Like but we here now, we gonna do it. And that was the mindset. It's like for Keyshawn, if he felt as confident that he could beat Andy Cruz, because I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Because think about it, he went pro, went back to the Olympics, and got beat. You know what I'm saying? By that dude. So it's like, okay, well, the dude still got your number. You can't just say, oh, that was the amateur. It's like, no, bro, you went pro and then went back, and he, you know what I'm saying? He ping, 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 you know, bing, 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 bing. You know what I'm saying? He just had your number. Some people just gonna have your number. So it's one. So why would you allow this dude to develop in the pros and get the experience and all that? It's like if you really felt like you can get rid of him, don't hide behind, oh, that's a good fight years to come. It's like, no, because you know, I think you're gonna move up in divisions anyway. Like you're not gonna be at 35 forever. But I think Andy Cruz will probably be at 35 for a while because he a grown ass man. I think he older than Boots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he ain't growing. He's you know, his in stature, he's not a big dude. He ain't gonna gain. He might get a little more dense, but the way he trained and his body type, he ain't gonna really gain no weight till he hang up the gloves, like and get, you know, older, like, you know, when people get a stomach and all that stuff. He ain't gonna get too much bigger. But why let him develop in the pros and wait? Like if you really wanted to fight him, you wouldn't let him develop more. You would get him now. Get it out the way. Make your statement.
That's my argument. It's like, why are you letting this dude get momentum? You feel what I'm saying? Because if he's got your number, you gotta say, all right, I know this guy got my number, so where can I get the advantages at? And there's nothing wrong with planning strategy. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, plan the strategy. The strategy should be, you're not acclimated to the pros yet. There's little subtle nuances once you become a pro that you don't know yet? Why am I going to let you get all of that experience under your belt and then fight an even more dangerous fight after I done built up all of this momentum and energy for myself? You feel what I'm saying? So to me, it's one of two things. Either you're going to stall Andy Cruz out, you feel what I'm saying, and try to use your fan base to constantly decline the fight, or you just gonna duck him, because I can't really see why you won't fight him. It makes for a good fight. If you're not gonna fight any of the other champs and unify right now, why not why not after De Los Santos get rid of Andy Cruz and then move on and do what the fuck you want to do, and nobody gonna have nothing to say about you.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the way I see it. So if he doesn't do anything like that, bro, oh man, it's gonna make it hard for anybody to defend the talking point of anybody coming at Keyshawn and say, yeah, but you're ducking Andy Cruz. And it's like, listen, if it move like a duck, act like a duck, it's a duck. I'm looking at what I hear what you say, but I'm watching what you do. You know, in this case, you saying it, and I just don't understand why. Why is this fight such a problem for you? Why does this fight cause all of this emotion with you? You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the businessman. The smartest business decision is either you acquire the competition in a hostile takeover, or you put a campaign to put them out of business. One or the other, bro. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, because you're gonna be haunted by that question. You're gonna be haunted by that question. It's gonna be perturb you. Like in with the media, when they know something perturbs you, they might camouflage, they might try to put lipstick on that pig, but they're gonna ask you that question
over and over
every time. Like, so yeah, so what do you think about Andy Cruz been saying he's your daddy and this, you know? So it's just get it out the way if it really. But I noticed that it's only certain people. Like I got off of Keyshawn. I was kind of being critical, but when he picked De Los Santos, I was like, okay, cool, okay, Key. You do what you need to do against De Los Santos. I'm off. I salute, you know. But I noticed that when it came down to Frank Martin and Andy Cruz, the energy was a little different.
Oh yeah,
and I still think that him and Frank Martin is one of the best fights. I don't think people talk about it, but he get past De Los Santos and somehow they can meet up. Like maybe if they meet at 40, or because you can bring somebody down from 40, and they was both saying because he was willing to go up for T.O. at 40.
Yep.
You know, just like Shakur willing to go up to 40 for Isaac Cruz, or willing to go to 40 for certain people. It's like once the fighter open up them doors, I'm like, oh, you will go there? Oh, okay. So I think that Keyshawn and Frank Martin at 140 would be one of the best fights we can see. I think that would be. Now I'm not looking over past this De Los Santos, because I really think that's really a grenade. You know what I'm saying? This dude really might be stepping in a landmine and might get blown up by a grenade. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he can get clipped. You know what I'm saying? His chin, you know what I'm saying? If you catch him right, he can probably go down, but he can catch you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of chin he got. I don't know what kind of chin really. I don't really know I don't know if he got a beard like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a titanium jaw. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say that this one is like this could be a banana peel.
Yeah. And that's what I've been trying to, I'm like, bro, just don't, like, certain dudes been like, nah, Key gonna do this and that. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. The dude's going up against a 87% knockout rate. That means, yeah, he could easily outbox him. You feel what I'm saying? Because Shakur outboxed him with one hand. But you feel what I'm saying? Shakur played a cautious fight. Here's the thing. That cautious fighting style is not Keyshawn's wheelhouse. there is no caution when he's fighting. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he may want to stand there and get into a little exchange. And if you stand there and get in that exchange, shit can happen. I'm not saying it will, but shit can happen.
That's why that's why this what makes, to me, this is an element that makes like above average or good fighters into great fighters. Great fighters take risks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like they're calculated risks, but at some point in time they're gonna be like, man, I gotta go get him, or I gotta separate myself. Keyshawn is that type. Like, he's gonna take risks. Like, so that's what makes him, that's why he'll have you on the edge of your seat. It's like Tank. He's gonna take a risk at some point. He is gonna step on it and do something. He's not gonna let just time after time go by and do nothing. Like, I think this last performance was kind of like an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? I never seen my guy look like that. But De Los Santos is also a guy that's going to take a risk. And I noticed that Keyshawn got a little bit of that bud in the, where if you get one good on me, I'm gonna get my get back. You know what I'm saying? And De Los Santos is like that too. De Los Santos is like that too.
That's why me and you like this fight so much, because we know these guys and we like, oh my God, this shit's gonna be crazy as long as it lasts.
Right. Now this might be a good fight. Like, now on the contrary, you'll get a Shakur and you'll get a Oshaki. That fight will be good for a different reason, but it's not gonna bring that. It don't bring that that anticipation in it, because you know it's gonna be a chess match. It's gonna be a lot of fencing in there, and somebody's gonna have to separate themselves and separate it from the judges. So if you put them on the same card, you know what I'm saying, like, you'll get the best of both worlds, but there'll be two different fights. Like, one of them, you'll be on the edge of your seat, like, oh shit, did you see that shit? Like, the other one, you'll be like, okay, all right, let me look. Okay, all right, I see how he adjusted there, and you know what I'm saying, it'll be one of them ones where you got to play real close attention to. But the way Keyshawn De Los Santos fight, it'll have you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like, I don't know what about to happen. You ain't gonna want to get up and go get nothing.
Yeah, it's just more saying, it's like, one fight is for the boxing purists. They're gonna love that fight. You feel what I'm saying with Shakur? They're gonna love that fight because they're gonna be like, oh my God, this is a chess match. This is classic boxing. Two good boxers. You feel what I'm saying? We ain't sitting on the edge of our seat like, when is he gonna knock him out? You just gotta view this shit, and if you're into the sweet science, you're gonna still be on the edge of your seat like, oh, look at how he just picked. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, this dude is actually eye-fainting this guy right now. You feel what I'm saying? So you'll be, the boxing purist is gonna be noticing all of those things, while the casual's gonna be sitting there like, why ain't these dudes moving? Because you're not seeing the little subtle movement. You're not seeing the little fake shoulder feint, just to see if I could get a reaction. And if I get the reaction the second time off the other shoulder, I'm gonna shoot this punch and then go downstairs, come back upstairs, and get the fuck up out of there.
Well, unless Oshaki learned from the Conceição fight, because he made adjustments in the second one, and he knows that if it goes down to a close decision or anything to where even if he slightly outwork him, they know they're going to give Shakur the nod. So that's going to make Oshaki be, because I've seen Oshaki aggressive. Like, if you go back and look at the fight when Oshaki had to go over there to Saudi, like, it's about 4 or 5 fights ago, I think. That's the best fight. I said, now that's the Oshaki. He showed me that's the Oshaki, man. If that Oshaki come to fight, he in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because Oshaki can come forward and press, and he can switch. He just don't do it a lot, but he can be aggressive. I don't know what made him more cautious like that, but he can. But Koki say De Los Santos is horrible at coming forward. Keyshawn can fight going both ways. But the beauty in that is, I don't think I think that Keyshawn is going, like, De Los Santos don't have to go fight going forward on that one. I don't think he's going to have to. That's what the beauty of that, because I think Keyshawn going to want to go get him.
Yeah, Keyshawn is not a natural counter puncher. He's an aggressive fighter that can counter punch.
And
That's
punch
why,
with you.
that's why
Yeah.
people love Keyshawn to watch him, because he can be on the front foot, you feel what I'm saying, and counter you just as effectively as looking at a defensive specialist counter you on the back foot. That's the thing that people, for some people who don't really understand Keyshawn's fighting style, that's the thing that makes his fighting style so fan friendly. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at a come forward fighter who's excellent at countering, whether he's on the front foot or on the back foot. Because I've seen Keyshawn step forward, shoot a jab, stepping forward, a step jab, and then pull off a pull counter after he connected with the step jab, pulls off a pull counter and drops a motherfucker. That is exceptional right there.
And he'll punch with you. Like, it's risking that, but he'll punch with you. Like, once he get your timing and he figure out, oh, he about to attack there, he'll punch with you.
Yeah.
So you thinking you going in for the kill, but he didn't, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, he going to exchange. That's why I don't care what the big channels saying. I don't give a fuck what the voices and the big couches and the loudspeakers out here saying about this fight. That's a sneaky good fight. You're gonna get your money's worth. And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying, sliding. You know, I gotta look at the tickets and I'm thinking about sliding down there, you know what I'm saying? Closer it get, you know, I got my eyes on the prowl. I might slide down and see that one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he say counter and trap. Keyshawn will dictate mid-range against De Los Santos and close range. Yeah, we got to see how De Los Santos is developing too, because I don't think he would just. Something tell me that De Los Santos, he ain't taking this fight because he don't think that he got a chance. You know, I think he ain't coming in there to lay down. You know what I'm saying? Unless he had to be, he might have had his little injuries and, you know, had his little blood clot his shoulder and stuff like that. But we gotta see if he's been developing, man. Because I think he spent a lot of time in Philly, if I'm not mistaken. He spends time in Philly, so he got to be getting some kind of good work. Not Philly, but in Pennsylvania, he got to be getting some kind of good work.
And that boy looking at this fight like, listen, if that youngin' motherfucker really get in the ring with me, I think I got this. I think people might see a different De Los Santos, although, you know. On the Spanish channel, a person sent me the link where De Los Santos did admit that he was caught with something from Shakur. You feel what I'm saying? And he was just a little leery. But I don't think that leeriness is gonna matter that much now, because I think he's gonna understand that, hey, listen, I may not have another opportunity at this shit. You feel what I'm saying? I'm getting older. The clock is ticking. If I don't beat this young boy's ass and get this belt, I may never get another opportunity.
Right. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. He, you know, and to get a title shot. I mean, I think he gonna turn up, man. I think we're gonna get our money's worth for that. Let me see. Rather see Keyshawn versus De Los Santos than Shakur versus Pally all day, every day. And he said, what's the word on Puelo, Gary, Antoine, Russell, Matias? It seems quiet on the end. Puelo and Gary, I'm not sure. And I think Matias is just waiting for I think Matias I think he gotta allow Richardson Hitchens to get this, you know, this fight on. I think he getting ready to fight Kambosos. And I think after that, Matias is gonna be right back up. And I think he's gonna have to. I think we're gonna get Richardson Hitchens versus Matias, which I think is gonna be very interesting, man. I think that fight gonna be very interesting. We see Bodywork AC. You see Andy Hirioka being a player at 140.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! And that's one thing I wanted to try to segue into is just the fact of at 140 and 147, you're talking about two Japanese fighters that might, understand what I'm saying, that might just be a wild card. You feel what I'm saying? At 140, Andy Hiroka could be that problem. You feel what I'm saying? He's solid. He's a great fighter, undefeated. Andy Hiroka could be the sleeper cell that's lingering down there at 140. And if he gets his opportunity and gets a great win off of it, he damn near becomes the A side to everybody at 140, because when you look at the fan base over in Japan, they serious about boxing. Look at the residuals of Stephen Fulton. Although he was skunked in that in-a-way fight, whenever Stephen Fulton posts, you're going to see a large number of Japanese people that follow him. Same thing with Jin Sasaki. You feel what I'm saying?
That's the one that stopped Jin, right?
Yeah. He's the only guy that stopped Jin. You feel what I'm saying? So, when you look at Jin, let's just say everything fucks up, and Brian Norman goes over there and he beats Jin. He's the A side. He's damn near really the A side to everybody, because when you look at his new number of fans that he will bring to the table, and you talk about pay-per-view numbers or whatever, he's going to have a country behind him, because he went and stopped their guy that they're saying he's the one who's going to bring Japanese boxing global, because they like Jin Sasaki's attitude and his energy, and he's a great guy that interviews. If Brian Norman wins, Brian Norman picks up all of those fans, plus his American fans, and he puts himself in a really, really high leverage position if him and Boots fights. So they're saying, look, Brian Norman in the interview that was the opening segment of this live, Brian Norman's dad just told us honestly, he was like, look, we just want Boots right now. Not Boots, then we're thinking about the Jin Sasaki fight. But right now, we just want Boots. So it's like a race for Boots. You feel what I'm saying? But these two Japanese guys, bro, listen, they could be the sleeper cells in the division, because Jin just dropped a tweet after he saw the what's the name dropped a tweet or a message after he saw the Jaron, Ennis and Stan Leonis fight, congratulated him, was super respectful as a champ, but then he just kind of told him, he was like, I think I could stop you. I think I have the skills to stop you. He believes in himself, delusional to a certain degree, but sometimes that delusion and you believe in yourself like that is what will get you the win. Also, my last point is, the reason why I follow Japanese boxing, because they have a different mindset. When you look at the number, and this is just a offset stat, when you look at the number of deaths inside the ring of Japanese boxing globally, these niggas is on some I don't quit, you got to kill me to make me quit.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm just bringing these type of points to light. Whether Jin could beat Brian Norman or Jaron Boots Ennis, that's to be seen. But when you got a guy that got skills, it's got a mean ass fast hook on the inside, can counter with that same hook, and he's delusional in his belief that no one at 47 can beat him. Yay!
Hey, they kind of got a wave right now if you look at it, because I think more recently, I think you seen a wave with the Australians. Like the Australians started making a big wave. Before that, it was kind of like the Filipinos mixed in with a little bit of Argentinians. They had a little wave. I think Japan got their wave right now. It's like their time, like right now. It's like the time where you see a lot of them emerging. So I think it's their time, man. That's why people getting it hot. Like it's getting hot over there, man.
It's their time, and here's the crazy part. When you just look at it, when you just really take a glimpse and look at it, quietly, Top Rank is picking up all of these Japanese fighters. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Quietly, they're picking up all of these Top Rank. Top Rank is picking up all of these fighters. And when you talk about everything, pretty much under 126, right? 122, all 4 belts is held by a Japanese guy in a way, right? 118, 4 different four different champions. Every last one of those champions is Japanese. You feel what I'm saying? 115, where Bam Rodriguez is, right? There's no Japanese champions, but a lot of Japanese contenders. You feel what I'm saying? And you got one guy that I'm also really big on, Kenshiro Taraji, talking about going up to 115 for the Bam fight. And at 112, it's two Japanese guys that got 3 of the belts. So they're making their moves, and people are like, well, Japanese, it's only they're fighting in a bubble. Okay, so you talking about the bantamweights and the junior bantamweights and shit like that, and the featherweights. It's Ecuadorians, El Salvadorians, Mexicans, Filipino dudes. It's everybody that comes from a small frame country. They're all mixed in with the 112s. Bam came from 112. You feel what I'm saying? So, bro, they getting they working globally. You feel what I'm saying? They're fighting all of these guys. So this shit's about to get real interesting. 2025, 2026 gonna be real interested in looking at the developing Japanese boxing program, because they made investments 20 years ago, and now all of those investments are paying off.
And they're strategic, man. Like when you think everybody playing, they are set to get back. Like that's a culture that's always gonna be striving to be towards the top of the totem pole. Like you think it's out of sight, out of mind, but they don't think like that. They're strategically planning and active and gearing up on all levels.
Yeah.
To be a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, man, I think we had a good cook, man. I just want to say this, man. Fahrenheit 147, man. I think it's heating up, but I think that the direction is going is more malice than anything that's going to be fruitful for boxing fans.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that you do your homework. Don't join a cult. You should wish that both of these brothers, we got Philly and we got Atlanta. It should be looked at like that. We got 2 young brothers that's out here doing something good, that's in a brutal sport, and they both going to have careers aside from each other, even if they ever cross paths. So I'm trying to petition to everybody out here, man. Let's not make this Bud and Spence all over again, man. That was just a little too toxic. I think somebody might really get smoked over this, man. Like if it gets the way it is, man, because it's just getting crazy, man. Don't let your fandemonium, make you irrational. Put on your thinking caps. Calm down a little bit. Understand that it's just boxing, man. And at the end of the day, all the bullshit we be doing online and all of the crazy stuff we say and do and how we insult both of these guys and they, and whatever they got going on, it don't get us closer to fights. It actually puts a wedge in between, because every now and again, some of these boxers start believing that bullshit from a fan base that's propagating that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I ask everybody, man, I challenge everybody to fact check people, be diplomatic in your approach when you're talking about these two, and understand that, man, look, regardless if they ever fight again, you should appreciate both of these guys and what they bring to the table in the different stages they are in their career, because they are in 2 different stages. Keep that in mind. And Brian Norman still has to be a businessman and look out for his career, just like Boots say, when it's a business for him and all that, you know, he got to look out for his own career and do his own thing too, because he was boxing before he ever knew who Boots was, and vice versa. That's my piece on that, man. How you want to land your plane, AC?
Yeah, I wanted to land it like this. Just to bring home an example of Japanese making Japan making an investment that pays off, right? Phil Wizard, breakdancer. He's originally from Japan, but lives in he's Japanese, but he lives in Canada or whatever, right? Japanese girl won gold. Phil Wizard won gold. You feel what I'm saying? Because they made investments 20, 30 years ago in American breakdancing. Like these dudes get a stipend. You feel what I'm saying? So ever since then, they've been dominant in the Red Bull breakdancing competition. And I'm just only saying these type of points for people to really understand that there's a whole nother country out there that made big time investments in their boxing program, and it's paying, and it's showing its residuals. When you're talking about some of these American fighters, you know, let's not do the tribal thing. Let's not say, oh, why he need to go over to Japan and fight some Japanese dude that don't nobody know about. No, it's not don't nobody know about. It's just you don't know about it because you're not that type of boxing fan that you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Don't gaslight me and tell me don't nobody know who this dude is. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's got a whole fucking country behind him. Your favorite fighter is local. Period. Local. So at the end of the day, let's embrace boxing as a global sport. Let's give all of these guys their respect. Let's not get caught up in the tribalistic bullshit of just creating this tribalism because one fighter truly, in my opinion, just wants to avoid the other fighter. And what's the easiest way to do it? You put the cones in the way, you make things tribal, and then you force everybody to pick a side of the fence or draw the line in the sand. Oh, I'm rocking with Boots because Boots is from Philly, and Philly is closer to me in New York. I ain't fucking with them country niggas. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. They're both on the. We're part of I-95. You feel what I'm saying? We're all part of that I-95 stretch. It's a great fight if it can be made without all the tribalism. So that's where I land my plane. Great show, Body. On to the next one, man. Make sure people out there, like, subscribe, hate, but make sure you participate. This is Bodywork Boxing.
I appreciate you, AC, man. Have a good evening, bro. Thanks
You
for
too,
coming
bro.
through. All right, man. Yeah, man, I want to say, listen, man, it's real simple, right? When two fighters want to fight, a fight can happen. If you think about it, when Keyshawn made this fight with De Los Santos, De Los Santos came out and was like, yeah, you must have forgot what we were talking about before your whole situation. We didn't have all this toxicity online about it. Next thing you know, we get in the fight. When Diego Pacheco and Steven So-Called Nelson made it happen, you had a little tribalism, just a little bit. But we had healthy debates and dialogue about it. It wasn't all crazy, and we got the fight. David Morrell, when he was pursuing David Benavidez, it didn't get that toxic. David Benavidez said, you know what? You've been calling my name. I'm about to finally give you what you asking for. And we got the fight with all this toxicity. It just seems like with certain guys, it's always some bullshit around them, and it's always some craziness that go on, and a whole bunch of back and forth and all this, and why you gotta hate. Like, it's not hating when you state the facts on somebody. When you state the facts that one guy has always had the advantages, has never went into a fight as an underdog, right? And then you diminish the other guy. Because the last time I checked, Brian Norman went over there where he was not supposed to win in somebody else's backyard and damn near crippled him. Then he went on a title defense, another guy who, because they weren't sold, you can't tell me that Top Rank is still sold on Brian Norman. It's just they can't do nothing about it. They can't do nothing about it. But he got his title defense. And he going there, he put a man in the hospital. And you trying to tell me that he's scared of this guy? Based on what? Because when I hear the conversations, all I'm hearing is, oh man, with Brian Norman, he get hit. Look at him, he got hurt in the first round. What did he do after that? He hit my man with a jab. That nigga went all the way across the ring, and then he crippled that man. He banged him, and the man didn't even want no more. He was in the corner like, nah, man, that nigga hit. That nigga punching like a mule. I don't want none. Last time I checked, and yes, Boots did legitimize himself. He did put himself in the annals of history. He unified. He got his quote unquote green jacket, like how they do in golf in the Masters. And yes, he legitimized himself. Yes. He wasn't able to take a strap off of a guy, but he just took a strap off of a guy, so he solidified himself. But let's just look at it. If you taller, longer, stronger, faster, more active, more athletic than everybody else, and you just waiting on all these guys moving up to go see you, we don't know who you are. We give you credit for dethroning another champ and stamping yourself, but that's not diminish the Normans to build up Boots. Right? Or shit on Boots because you know that the Normans are up next. It's like, let's have a little bit more balance to the conversation, man. And I think we'll go a little bit more further, man. Shit won't get as toxic because I'm already like starting to shy away from conversations about this because I see where it's headed, man. It's heading dangerously into the toxic levels of Earl and Bud. When at the end of the day, as fight fans, we just want to see the fights. Anyway, this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. This is fact-based content, not opinion-based. If you catching this on the playback, talk to me. I talk back. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.